This is LinkedIn for job hunters. And we'll call this unit preparation. Before we can actually go to LinkedIn and start filling out the forms that are there and create the LinkedIn profile, we have to have content. And before we put content in, we have to know who our audience is. So let's start the following. Let's try the following. Is this LinkedIn profile a CV, a resume, or is it a marketing document? So, true to my philosophy and the concepts that I borrowed from What Color Is Your Parachute, Where Do I Go From Here with My Life, and Don't Use a Resume by Lanthrop, my perception of what LinkedIn is all about is that it is a marketing document. Now, having said that, we both know that the structure, when you look at the profile, it looks like a resume. And 9 times out of 10, we're probably going to be using that profile and generating a copy of it or giving a link to it in lieu of a resume. So let's try and find a happy medium between, on one hand, yes, the profile will fill out all the little blocks that the human resources people expect to see, the work history and the education and training and professional development and whatever other issues that they feel they would like to see in a resume. But we are going to try to do everything we can to use that resume and turn it into a marketing document so that when it falls into the hands of someone on their screen or in their printed out hands, it will grab them. It will communicate a message that we want them to receive. So, if that's the opening salvo here, that we are not creating a resume, but we are creating a marketing document, now we have a lot of questions that we have to answer before we can actually go and start writing anything. And that is, excuse me, my apologies, and that is, the first question we have to ask is, what are we selling? Okay, what are we selling? And of course we're selling our skills and our experiences. We're selling the sum total of what we have to offer as an employee or as a consultant or as a service provider or as an artisan or whatever it is that we okay. So that's a very important question. I realize you're going to say to yourself, I already know, I'm an aeronautics engineer. And I'll answer in this fashion. If you already know exactly what kind of position you're looking for, then you're already 50% of the way along the game. I would still tune in and finish this unit because you're going to learn how to prepare the information so you'll be able to sell yourself to the people that you already know are interested. But if you don't already know, and or you thought you knew, but you're 35 and older and you are unemployed, or you are less than 35 but you have a history of chronic unemployment or shifting from job to job, it's quite possible that you're going to need to do one of two things. Either A, to finally find out what it is that you really should be doing because you evidently have not been doing the right thing, or retool, redefine, redesign, reinvent yourself. So there's a whole unit in Your Next Career, which is a separate workshop. Please, I'll give you a link to that in the online materials, which helps you walk through what are you good at. And I'll explain very quickly what the process is, but ultimately you're going to ask, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? And you're going to discover that the things that you are successful at doing or the things that you enjoy doing probably are connected in some way to either people, things, or ideas. And the question is, how do you find out? So the Yonex career that I'm going to give you the link to will tell you about a skill assessment grid. It's a lot of work. People, you do this properly, it's 20 hours of work. And basically it's a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet that takes year for year from high school to today. And if you're 60 years old like I am, that could be quite an undertaking. It lists the major areas of endeavor, of activity in professional life or business life, education life, personal life, and identifies any highlights, events, whatnot, in each one of those blocks. That's the skill assessment grid, and that can be quite a major undertaking going down memory lane if you're 40 or 50 years old. Trust me, you want to start from high school, although we both know that you won't remember that much about high school or the first few years after that. But it's important. What you're going to do, the second stage of this skill assessment, is you're going to identify optimally five, more than that is begging a little bit too much of you because it's a lot of work. 5 instances where you really felt, wow, I really succeeded at this position or this project or this initiative, or I really enjoy, it might have been a failure, but I really enjoyed doing this. Identify 5 of them, and if you have to, receive 5, 10, 15, so you make a list of them and then you go through and you try to decide, well, if I have to choose between these two, which of them would I prefer? And then you go through the entire list of 15 until you come up with the 5 that are, okay. Now, you take each of these 5 that you've identified, 5 opportunities or positions or initiatives that you really succeeded at or you really enjoyed, and you sit down and you write a WordPress document, and you write this document, detailed description of what you had to do in order to complete the task, to complete this activity. Well, I had to go down to the library in the courthouse, and I had to sit there for hours on end, reading through documents and researching, identifying pertinent information and copying it out into cards, and then afterwards I had to take all these cards and I had to organize them according to category, according to location, according to time. Okay, you got the idea? Really detailed, excruciatingly painful details of what you had to do in order to accomplish this thing that you were really successful at or that you really enjoyed doing. Once you've completed all 5 essays, then there is an online tool that I can that will send you the link to if you take the Yonex Career Workshop, and it will read through these documents and create a list of words. So if you said the 50 million times, it'll say THE 5 million. And if it said organize 52 times, it'll say organize 52. And in this way, by going through and identifying the verbs, you will essentially identify the skills that you brought to bear in each of these occurrences that you were really successful at or that you really enjoyed. And now you have a list of the skills that you are really good at, the skills that you can bring to bear. Now, I will admit, okay, if you're like me, 61 years old or whatever I am now, I keep on trying to remember, ultimately, you already have a pretty good idea, but I want to tell you the truth. I've done this at least 4, maybe 5 times since I discovered the book Yonex Career. Correction, that was a Freudian slip. The book What Color Is Your Parachute, way back in 1969. So when I come to this issue today, it's very clear to me because I've already done it, and I've done it several times, and I've seen that there's a certain consistency. But I'll give you an example of what the results were for me. You might think that I'm a systems analyst. You might think that I'm a professional technical trainer. You might think that I'm a end-user consultant, a technology consultant. Any of these things are job titles that I've had over my career. But when we look at this analysis of the skills that I brought to bear, you're going to realize the following: that in every single role that I was successful at or that I enjoyed, communication skills, both written and oral, verbal, were key factors in my success. In most of my experiences, my interest and innate curiosity and I didn't have to go to university to be able to take things apart and put them back together, or so that technical interest and that technical skill of how to use technology, how to figure it out, how to apply it, shows up a lot. I'm a problem solver. I love chess. I love problems. I love going in and analyzing the problems and then figuring them out and coming up with solutions for them. I enjoy it. That's a hobby of mine. They actually paid me to do that once in a while. So if we look at communication skills, we look at technical interest, we look at problem solving, and problem solving, by the way, has a lot to do with taking complex things and breaking them down into simpler things. All of a sudden, systems analysis requires the ability to communicate with the people that you're interviewing and receiving the information from them, so that you can translate that into a document which is meaningful to the technical people who are going to have to turn those desires of the person you interviewed into software. It's the technical understanding, and it's also problem solving and taking complex things and simplifying them. Do you know what? I'm a great technical trainer. You know why? Communication skills, technical interests, and problem solving. Because training is taking complex things and then breaking them down and explaining them in terms that someone who's uninitiated and doesn't have any technical background can understand. That's what technical training is all about. Customer service, technical customer service, communication skills, technical interests, and the ability to analyze problems, discover solutions, and to employ them. So there's a lot more. I have really 5 or 6 skills, but if we just look at that, you get a feel for what I'm looking at. Once I've identified that, once I've gone through the skill assessment process and I've identified my skills, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, okay, this document that I'm about to market, that I'm about to give out to potential prospective people that I'm looking to hire me as an employee or as a consultant, these are the skills and experiences that I'm selling. Next question is, what are they buying? In other words, what do they need? Who needs what I have to offer? Now, if you already know the systems analysis, technical training, and whatnot are the fields, but you know what? Maybe there's other areas where I could bring these skills to bear. The problem is, the moment that I say to myself, I'm an aeronautic engineer, I'm not going to look for these other areas. I'm going to look for, if we talk about aeronautical engineers in Israel, I mean, there's maybe 100 or 1,000 of them, and then if you're a new one in this field, you're going to have to go to Peru or Boeing in Seattle, Washington to look for a job, because there simply are not enough jobs in aeronautical engineers in Israel. Yet the moment you break it down, what makes you a good aeronautical engineer? And I actually dealt with this issue with and assisted someone, and let's just say that amongst all the other areas of project management and the technical end of it really wasn't aeronautics as much as it was stress of material. Aeronautical stress and dynamics, but also the stress of materials. The moment that this individual that I was helping realized that the skills that he brought to bear, yes, technical knowledge and formal knowledge and experience dealt with aeronautic design and the optimization of shapes for aircraft, but a tremendous amount of what he knew and what he brought to bear in order to succeed dealt with materials and how materials deal with stress. The moment that he freed himself of his job, this title, aeronautic engineer, and he started looking at himself as a materials stress engineer, he found, I think it was like 30 some odd opportunities in industry throughout Israel where they were manufacturing and creating new products, and they needed this kind of expertise and experience to help them design products that were going to be effective, efficient, and withstand the stress of day-to-day. And instead of having to travel to Peru and Boeing, he stayed in Israel and found a job that he enjoys. So if you already know who it is you want to sell your skills to, then you've saved yourself this step. But like I said, if you're over 35 and you're looking for work, or if you're under 35 and you're chronically unemployed, maybe it's important to do this next step, which is who needs what you have to offer. Again, there's a whole section in your next career that once you've completed the skill assessment, then there's a whole process of going out and seeking feedback from the world, which of course LinkedIn makes much easier than it did when I did this 30 years ago and 25 years ago, in order to identify who needs this collection of skills and experiences. Okay. And just to give you an example for myself, when I did this analysis, I discovered that event organizers, professional event organizers, communication, technical maybe a little less, but definitely problem solvers and organization and project management. So you'll see that the moment that you free yourself of your job description and you look rather at who needs this collection of skills and experiences, then you'll open up all kinds of new opportunities that we'll talk about how to pursue them, how to exploit them. Okay, so for the LinkedIn for job hunters, if you need to do this skill assessment, then stop what you're doing, go over to the Your Next Career unit of skill assessment, know thyself, okay? Do it. And then once you've come back and you've got your list of skills and you have identified those 5 or 6 opportunities, professional opportunities in your life and or maybe additional opportunities, then you can come back to LinkedIn for job hunters and continue. Where are we going to go? When you finish this preparation phase, you will have 5, maximum 10 professional experiences, preferably in the last 5, maximum 10 years, that demonstrate who you are, what you can bring to bear, what you can offer. They might also be non-professional experiences. It might be that you are a volunteer in an organization and made tremendous contributions to that organization. And in that capacity, these skills and experiences were instrumental in the contribution that you made. But at the end of this process, you will have 5 to a maximum 10, and preferably for the last 5 or maximum 10 years, of CV, work history experiences, that you will have identified what they are and what it was that you brought to the table that made them for you, made you a success at them, and or that permitted you to really enjoy what you were doing. That's your first job. So once you've got that done, you come back, visit us, and take the next unit, which will be preparing the profile. In other words, taking that information and putting it on the profile itself, which is the technical end of things, with a little bit of literary polish and marketing savvy. All discussions for the LinkedIn for Job Hunters course is on the Yammer discussion group, and you'll go to the eSkills Academy wiki, and you'll find all the links to the various online resources that we've either prepared or identified and collected for this unit. Looking forward to hearing from you. Fire away questions, fire away suggestions, and please when anybody on the group says something, feel free to give constructive criticism and feedback to help one another, because that's what it's all about.